Western coalition of nations uniting against Russia, sanctions and other measures, of course, being put into place. We are joined by Sarah Cliff. She is director of the New York University Center on International Cooperation. Thank you, Sarah, so much for joining us. Looking big picture, even if Russia succeeds in its short-term military goals, what is your take on what this means for Russia's long-term security?
So Putin's argument of their objectives is that this is to protect Russian-speaking people and to increase security for Russia. But all the evidence that we have on the effect of occupation is that it, in fact, will do the opposite. We know that countries under occupation, with the associated human rights abuses and suffering that comes with that, are actually 2 or 3 times more likely to be insecure in the long term. So I think we can say that even in Russia's own logic, it is very unlikely that this intervention will actually increase its security.
We know the UN General Assembly held an historic vote to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but how important was that vote? I mean, 35 countries chose to abstain. Assumedly, some are ones continuing to do business with Russia. Is it important to have unanimity within the UN?
So that was a very strong vote, as you said, 141 countries giving a really strong statement of condemnation. But there were 35 countries who abstained and 11 countries who didn't vote at all. So I think it will be very important going forward to look at the balance of that coalition and to make sure that some of the concerns which those countries who abstained, or which some of those who voted for the resolution but may have wavering issues or worries, are addressed. And those would primarily be food and energy prices.
Okay, which makes sense, we know, for some countries which are dependent on that Ukrainian breadbasket. Refocusing on Putin, though, waging a military campaign, quite obviously, but also an information war, so trying to shut his people off from Western news. Is this propaganda effect working? Do we have a kind of accurate gauge on what Russians are seeing and thinking, and perhaps a chance that they could turn against their own authoritarian government?
So I don't think we do have a very accurate gauge of what is happening inside Russia, but we have seen a surprising continuation of protests and this playbook of the shutdown of Facebook and Twitter and of the criminalization of people publishing so-called fake news about the military. That's a sign, certainly, that the Kremlin is seriously worried about this. And again, we can say that this is often a blowback effect that bites the occupier, that protests and instability internally may rise. We've seen that happen in other country situations.
So speaking of potential dissension, some Russian business people are distancing themselves from Putin, others are not. What is your understanding of how the oligarchs close to Putin, ones who have been made very rich by him, how do they feel about this war? Quite frankly, are they annoyed enough or hurt enough by sanctions to take action?
So I actually think the surprising thing is that we have not seen more overt statements of pressure from the oligarchs. So there have, of course, been some Russian billionaires, Friedman, Deripaska, Abramovich, who have spoken out against the war, but we have not yet seen a real build-up of that pressure. And as we see more of the assets of the oligarchs being directly threatened, I think that will increase.
Certainly, as time goes on. Sarah Cliff, thank you so much. We appreciate your insights.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.